say can and will be held against you. Don't talk to the police. Talk to me first, Attorney Warren E. McAlpine from the Action Attorney Center. I know the law and I know your rights. Whether felony, misdemeanor, drug, OWI, domestic violence, or traffic violation, I can help you. Call today, Warren E. McAlpine, 1-888-292-6908.
Seniors, are you concerned about taking care of yourselves and continuing to live in your own home? In-Home Help Agency provides services to keep seniors safe, comfortable, and independent at home so they can continue to live in their home. We help seniors with their activities of daily living like eating, feeding, bathing, grooming, dressing, transferring, mobility, medication, meal preparation, errand shopping, laundry, light housework, companionship, so that seniors can continue to live in their homes. Call us today, 313-874-2000. That's 313-874-2000. We are hiring caregivers. Call now, 313-874-2000. Call now, 313-874-2000. Don't delay. Give us a call right now at 313-874-2000.
Good morning. Rise and shine up and at 'em. And it's an amazing new day this Thursday, March the 17th, and it is my pleasure to be with you. You're now tuned into Coffee and Conversation with Collette. You know, I do my proverbial curtsy. Good morning, you guys. How are you? It's a pleasure to be with you this Thursday. The weather is amazing. You all know that is my word. It's amazing. I can't believe that we are in the midst of March. You know, anything is possible. Maybe spring is here. I feel like singing. You should feel the same way as you have begun your day. I pray that you have. Either you have your coffee, your tea, your water, your fruit juice, your smoothie, whatever it is that can help quench your palate as we begun to have an amazing conversation. I want to give a special shout out and a good morning to our station owner, Mr. RJ Watkins, Mr. Henry Tyler, an amazing team who's in the building this morning. Of course, Miss Michelle Cunningham and my own engineer, Sean Watkins. And yes, we can battle a little bit because everyone claims Sean, but I got him first. First thing this morning, I got him. 7 a.m., I got him. He's with me this morning. So I appreciate them for making such a seamless transition from the outside into the building, into the set, so I can begin to speak with you. I'm going to give you our numbers, 313-868-0342. Again, 313-868-0351 and 313-868-4336. A lot of things have been occurring this week. You know, we're coming off of Super Tuesday. 5 additional states have had votes. You have spoken. America is speaking. I don't know if we are so happy, maybe, of what America is saying, or maybe it's the anticipation of things that have been rumbling. You know, the underbelly, the undercurrent of the happenings. So, based off of that, today our title is going to be The Unraveling of America. And you know, I do that deliberate because I like it to sink in. The unraveling of America. So, my position with that topic is that America is coming apart. And so America, in my perception, is coming apart based off of the idea of who we believe America to be. And maybe that, of course, our ideas and our ideologies are based off of our perceptions and how we were taught and the like. So I'm wondering, and I'm going to pose that to you, if you think that America is unraveling. You know, I'd like to start off with a quote, and I want us to think about it. Remember, we have 3 E's as we have our hour together. Education, we want to be educated in our conversation. We want to ensure that we are enlightened in our conversation and that when we walk away from our time together, we're empowered. That's our goal. Education, enlightenment, empowerment. And that we always know that there's more than one way to have a conversation. We're respectful in our dialogue. But I just implore you to first listen. We can hear, but it doesn't mean we're listening. So, in the context of listening, that means that you don't formulate your opinion prior to listening to all the dialogue. So then you can come back and eloquently say if you agree or disagree and state your position. That's all I ask. We don't have to agree on everything, and that's okay. But as long as we are listening, you feel that your voice is heard because that's most important. That's how you have a conversation, not a dictatorship. This is not an oligarchy. I don't tell you what it is and then, get mad at you if you don't agree. It doesn't work that way. We don't think when that happens. We think and grow rich. And caller, I see you. Thank you so much. I'm going to get to you momentarily. But the unraveling of America. So here's our quote for today. America is not just a country. It's an idea. Let me give it to you one more time. America is not just a country, it's an idea. And this quote was taken from Bono, internationally acclaimed artist, humanitarian, activist, that America is not a country, just a country, it's an idea. So, do you agree? I need to hear from you. Do you believe that it's an ideology that we have bought into as citizens of this great United States of America? And based off of that ideology, we have come then to either, I'm going to give you some scenarios that perhaps might change your perspective on this. The rise of the GOP party, which is changing. The grand old party, the good old party, is not the party that it used to be. Remember that song, The Old Gray Mare, She Ain't What She Used to Be? Well, the grand old party is not what it used to be. You have some Republicans that have said that it is unraveling. It is coming apart at the seams. The Democratic Party is saying the same thing. That who Democrats have been historically is not who the party represents today. And the truth is that there's no difference between Democrats and Republicans. And so it is unraveling. You've noted in the news this week that Harvard Law School, has changed the seal for the law school as it has been attached to slavery. Slaveholder, the royal family, founders of Harvard University, had slaves. And so there has been protest and ongoing protest to change the seal, to abolish that historical perspective. And so it's unraveling. And people have agreed on both sides, disagreed that it's part of history. We shouldn't change history. We should learn from it and let it stay the same, because if you eradicate it, then it takes away from the lesson. I want to know what you think about that. I want to know who you believe America to be. I need to understand if you have a different perspective on what a politician is. Are politicians, or historically were politicians, just community activists who felt that they could make a difference by then running for office to change legislation or create legislation? Is that who our politicians are today? There's an amazing article in this month's issue of Governing Magazine that gives a viewpoint from individuals who have run for governors, three specific, to different states in America, who are millionaires. One gentleman is a billionaire. And the position is that because he is not beheld to monies from a lobbying entity, that it changes the face of government. And it is just business, and it is business as he sees it. Do you believe that? Is that what we're seeing now with Donald Trump? Because America is fed up with politics as usual, and that's why there's a rise in Donald Trump's candidacy, because people are tired. They feel that he is not, quote unquote, a politician. He is a businessman, and because of that, they believe that, hey, why not try him? He is vocal about some of the things that we believe in. He's not trying to sugarcoat it. He doesn't have the media coaching and the corrective banner to make you feel all inclusive. And then behind closed doors, he's saying something else. He's totally, totally, totally transparent. What do we think about that? Do we have a problem with it? For African American leadership, do we believe that we are in a position where our elected officials are speaking for us? Do we believe that there's still a relevance for specific African American leadership based on, is it location, based on, of course, your socioeconomic status? Do you believe that all that has gone by with the civil rights movement as we have known it? I'm not saying that the civil rights movement doesn't exist now. I believe there's a new face for the movement. And so, is that the unraveling of America? Because we have a lot of our pioneers who were parts of the marches on Washington and walking across the Pettus Bridge, and of course in the 60s and the like, who might look at a Black Lives Matter and say, you know what, you're not resonating. That means it's not what it used to be. Based off what we believe needed to happen in America to make a difference, you guys aren't hitting the mark, and it's not making a difference. So those are the conversations that we're going to delve in today. And callers, I see it, so I'm about to get to you so we can begin the conversation, and then I can go into giving specifics with some of the examples, and you might have some as well. And I'm also going to, of course, make it homegrown. You know, that's what's important. We take national, international topics and titles, and then we make it applicable to home. So do we think the same thing of the unraveling right here? Our school systems unraveling. Individuals who were elected by the people, selected by the people, not able to hold office. Is it unraveling? Have we just become slaves to the modern day establishment? We're protesting, we're complaining, and there's nothing being done. The travesty in Flint, and it is still a travesty in Flint, and it will continue to be a travesty in Flint until all the pipes are replaced in the city and in the homes of the residents. But are we having that conversation? Is it an unraveling in that a travesty happens, man-made or otherwise, and we are not collectively running to fix it, yet still having the conversation about who's at fault? And I'm not saying that determining who's at fault is not important, but it should not be on the backs of our citizens. So much so that you all saw there's an article in the news, and that the administration is now suggesting $1 million plus price tag for lawyers to then lawyer this, and I said lawyer, yes, to lawyer the situation of suits against the governor. Isn't that what we have an attorney general for? Why do we need outside counsel? Was there a bid process? Did you hear about it? Were you able to submit? Did RFP go out, or you selected an individual? And is this individual competent? Have they had a core set, a skill set in this law that's applicable to what the governor is facing? Do you believe that that should be on the backs of the people? Is that who you believe America to be? It's unraveling. So let's talk about it. Thank you so much for your patience. You're in Coffee and Conversation this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, fellow patriot.
Oh, fellow patriot. Amazing day. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. How about yourself?
No complaints. You know that. Never that.
Well, good.
Thank you.
The question was, is America unraveling?
Yes.
I think American has always been in a continuous state of unravelment.
Explain why you say that.
Developing. You know, we are the youngest developing nation,
Okay.
on the planet.
All right.
So we are still continuing to grow and evolve.
Okay.
And, my problem is that a lot of us don't want to take our rightful place and help in the change of developing America. We try to separate ourselves from the country.
Okay.
We try to say, hey, this is their country.
Right.
This is their flag.
Right.
See, to me, that's a mistake, and it will continue to be a mistake if future generations don't understand that this is theirs.
Right.
And ain't going nowhere. So we might as well join the team
Okay.
and have a winning game.
Okay. Well, I have a question for you, Patriot, and stay there with me. So, We understand historically that, and I think everyone needs to understand that if I make a point of reference to the said history of America, it does not, negate or cause an additional strife. It's just a conversation, okay? So, if indeed we honor that forefathers had slaves, the whole business of enslavement was for money. Okay. So, of course, individuals were slaves, and there were black people, tan people, yellow people who were in slavery, either indentured or otherwise. And then coming up out of slavery as an economic move then leads us to a free space. And of course, we've gone through the history of the riots and segregation and what that looks like. But do you believe that there was something, a tickler, if you will, that has created the energy that we have now? And perhaps could that tickler be the election of President Barack Hussein Obama?
Uh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I don't believe that certain people always continue to strive a better America.
Okay.
I think a lot of people had pride that we have a black man that made it to the highest office in the land,
Yes.
and that we always, if you look at it, we've always had champions that did well. You know, going
Yes.
back to Shirley, you know,
Yes.
she ran.
Yes.
And we've always had champions that won elections and were you had a glimmer of the hope that they could have been president because they had won certain states, like Jesse Jackson won Michigan.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I think that the president just added a new flavor to our situation.
Okay.
And you know, the young generation now, they have I guess a point of reference that they can target, and that's the highest position in the land
Okay.
as president. So it's no holdbacks. But I think a lot of us felt that it was never any holdback. You know,
Right.
because if you look at it, Paul Robeson was a pretty much a Rhodes Scholar, and he could have been the president of this United States if the times were different. If Paul
Right.
Robeson would have been born the same time
Right.
as Barack Obama, I think it would have been a competition of who we would have been choosing to be president, either Paul Robeson or Barack Obama.
That's a great position. Well, answer me this. As we look onto the horizon of the potential of a female president, do you believe that perhaps that could just be problematic because of the role that society has placed potentially on women, women in leadership and government, more so how men perceive women in government? There are certain countries, international countries, that don't interact with women in leadership positions, and potentially how that will impact America in our conversations and negotiations. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm going back to, you know, because it was Margaret Thatcher,
Nice.
you know, who prime minister
Yes.
of England. So she had her, you know, distractors, but she was the iron-clad, I guess, person that wouldn't take any mess.
Yeah.
And I think we can get that with Hillary Clinton. She's a person that don't look like she would take any mess.
Okay.
So women have always been in control through the history of the world and been pretty good leaders.
Okay.
In fact,
All right.
you know, I think this would be, if we elect a female president, I mean, we'll be just, I guess, going with the rest of society, rest of the world.
All right.
But you know, my choice was Bernie Sanders. But like
Bernie.
I said, I've not been a Hillary. You know, I've been a Hillary Clinton fan too.
Okay.
You know, so it wouldn't bother me as long as we go into a direction that we need to go to make America grow. And that's been the problem. We need all hands on deck for this to happen. As Bernie says, we need a revolution, and I think it is a revolution going on right now.
Yes.
Where he is generating young people. And you notice he's got a lot of young people behind him, and that gives me hope for the future of America. we're going in the direction that we need to go to grow with the rest of the world. Because
Yes.
we so behind comes to a lot of, and that's because we got Neanderthal thinking political leaders,
Yes. Okay.
and that's what we need to start getting, catch up with the technology we have
Absolutely.
going right now.
Absolutely. Well, I always appreciate your call. Thank you so much. Other callers have been patient, so I'm going to get to
Okay,
them.
all right.
But I thank you so much, fellow patriot, and continue having an amazing day, okay?
You too now.
All right, thank you. Everyone, that's what it's about. It's being able to look at the situation in which we are in right now, being able to determine how we feel about it, understand and have a realistic conversation. Because maybe the truth is, have we made race a factor and it's really not a factor? Maybe that. Maybe for people who are not, quote unquote, the majority population, we always position it as race because what else do we have to blame it on? I don't know. So if you're non-majority, do you just think that, okay, I want a fair wage. I want fair and equal education. And clearly, perhaps the selection and election of President Barack Hussein Obama has shown us that race really doesn't matter. I just want someone to make my everyday life work as it pertains to their role in government. Let's have a conversation. I see you have been holding. Thanks so much for your patience. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Collette. This is Ordinary Joe.
Ordinary Joe. No, you're not. For you to say ordinary, that means you're not. But come on, because we're going to have a great conversation this morning.
Okay,
All
great. I want to piggyback on what the Patriot was speaking about, but first I wanted to talk about the subject matter of this morning,
Okay.
and that is America unraveling.
Yes.
Indeed, is the world unraveling.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, she used to do a lot of knitting,
Okay.
and had a couple cats and a bunch of grandkids running around, so we would unravel a lot of those knit balls, right?
Yes.
Those balls of strand, and she would make us all sit with a different color of strand and put it on two fingers and roll it back up.
Okay.
So if indeed America is unraveling, all we have to do, like the Patriot was implying, is to get together and rewound it back up.
Mm.
And speaking of females
Okay.
running politics, I mean, when a child is born, whose eyes do they first look into?
Right.
They look into their mother's eyes, and of course, dad is somewhere working, so
Great.
she politics the entire day of the child.
Okay.
So it's a no-brainer that a woman can't run the country. A woman can run the entire world
Okay.
because you guys are the first teachers. But getting back to the Patriot and his love for the American flag, it's interesting that I believe a black woman was one of the first people to actually make a flag along with these quilts that are worth thousands of dollars.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
So another thing I like about you, Collette, is unbeknownst to all of your male callers, right, I think that only your intellect excels your beauty. And I like how you use your beauty to flex your intellect.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Now, see, you're gonna get me embarrassed because I thank you. Okay, that's too much. But look, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
You gave a great analogy about the winding back up of America as a collective voice. What do you think stops us, hinders us from that?
Honestly,
Yes.
my analogy of that is when you say us, I have to assume you're saying black people.
Or just you know what? Bingo. Let's go two places. Let's go us as black people and then as a collective, as all of us, as the human race.
As the human race,
Yes.
well, I'll deal with America, and I'm going to go right back to the Patriot
Okay.
and how he carries the flag around. And a lot of black people and people of other cultures, they don't agree with carrying that flag, but the flag represents the United States. And we all are part of the United States. You know, we're not part of Europe. We're not part of Africa. We're part of the United States. And it only stands to reason that we should be proud of being part of the United States, whether it's where we want it to be or whether it's not.
Right.
You know, let's all rally around one goal.
Okay.
And I think that's what the Patriot pushes.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what you pushes. I think that's what the station pushes. It's amazing how this particular station, from a news perspective, presents it in a completely different way. But it's a way that everybody, people of all cultures, can relate to.
Absolutely.
And from all around the country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I, of course, would be remiss yet again if I didn't shout out again RJ and Henry. I mean, you hit it on the head. At the end of the day, we have to support what has supported us in creating a voice when it wasn't popular, creating a conversation and an opportunity to say what we think and what we feel and be able to have the dialogue, and we can, you know, shout it out. There's tons of different personalities that have been graced to be able to be on this airway, and that no matter how we present ourselves, it is our voice, that it's not censored. It's none of those things. And so
Thank you,
you're right.
Collette. And what's very important about this station is it's not subjected to sound bites.
Right.
So you're going to get truth out of commentary that's not subjected to sound bites and editing.
You're right.
So
You're right.
let me get off now. I know
Okay,
you got
I appreciate you.
Got a lot of other bowls want to call you.
I'm about to get to them. We appreciate it. Have an amazing day. Thanks so much. Everyone, you know, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's about being in a space where we can have the dialogue. We can understand what it is. I mean, callers, I see you. I'm about to get to you. And I'm going to put this out here. I want us to think through, and I want to hear from you, of course, and the number 313-868-0342 or 313-868-0351 or 313-868-4336. But do you believe that there's an injustice that we give ourselves if and when we try to forget what our history is in America? Just think about it, because I want us to talk about it. Thanks so much for your patience. You're in Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Good morning.
Good morning, Collette.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Good. This morning, I was just listening to the conversation this morning.
Okay.
And I just want to kind of throw in a little cognitive dissonance this morning.
Nice.
You know, and talk about the rain, you know, the storm.
Okay.
You know, the times of tribulation.
Okay.
And in those times, these are the times that you want people in place who react to these situations in a proactive way, honorably, with honor. That's what you want in place.
Okay.
And this thing here is what's keeping us from making the progress that we so deserve. And one of the main aspects that is holding us back, it starts with the children, which leads up to us, and that is that none of us know where we are. This is place called America is nothing to be bound to.
Okay.
You know, America's I'm going to bring a little rain in the conversation right now.
Sure.
And America's foundation is built on dishonor. You know, rape, kidnapping, human trafficking, all forms of abuse to our children. So I just wish people would come to the reality of where they are. Where we are today, we are a part of the universe that consists of two polarities, good and evil. And I'm sorry to say, one cannot exist without the other. You know, here is where, in times of tribulation comes in, that you must have people with an honorable stature in place so that they could be proactive when situations and catastrophes take place, such as Flint, Katrina, and these things. See, when you don't know where you are, you don't know what to do.
Right.
People
Right.
still think that we're on a globe. Water does not stick to a ball.
Right.
You pour water on a ball, it falls off.
Right.
We are on what's called a plate, a plane. And once the children are taught where they are, we can start changing this paradigm.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen now. In fact,
Wait,
I
wait,
got
stay
one
there.
more
No, no,
question.
I love the dialogue. And caller, I see you. Don't you hang up. But I need to ask you. And you make such a profound points, and they're truthful. So, in understanding the nature in which America was founded, have we just bought into an ideology, or that's the propaganda that keeps us submissive, in your opinion?
Well, see, the history is not in place. See, the thing with America, we were already here.
Nice.
I'm sorry to say, we were already here.
Nice.
You know, so I mean, this is where the curriculum in the schools
Yeah.
have us locked in to this intellectual, psychological lockdown.
Yeah.
See, it's the curriculum. And, I mean, this is a long conversation.
No, it's
I'm gonna
great.
call
No, you're
back
right.
because this is getting really deep, and it's a lot of things that people don't know and can't cover all the aspects of the function of what's going on
Right.
in an hour. You just
Right.
can't do it, but you can start at the basics, and we have to start with our children.
Okay.
See, I'm going to go off just the edge a little bit more.
All right.
I went to the store in Dearborn the other day. I live in Detroit,
Okay.
and I'm coming out of the store. I'm going to the car. An Arab woman and her was going to the car, and her son was in the back window. And I'm going in the car, and her son looks up. He's about 4, maybe 3,
Okay.
and he looks up out the window and he says, "Get out of here! Get out of here!" And his mother and father don't say nothing to him. He's,
Wow.
"Get out of here!" talking to me.
Wow.
I looked at him, and I said, "Wow." They teach their children at 3 years old
Right.
to hate.
Right.
Our children don't know nothing but Walt Disney.
Right.
Our children don't know nothing but love
Right.
when they come here. Their children are taught hate at an early age. We are 500 years behind. You can't catch up with that. We have to build our own system. We need our own judicial system, our own education system, our own banking system. We need our army.
Right. All right. See, that's what I'm talking about. I am so encouraged and have been enlightened by the conversation that you shared with us this morning. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you. I mean, everyone, he makes a great point. And so I really want us to think about that also. So if we need our own, and we agree that we need our own, how do we get there? Everyone. So if we're bought into this America and we are Americans and what that looks like, how do we create our own? Because we have had our own. We've had that show a couple of weeks ago when we talked about what we've had as people. We've had the Black Wall Street, Tulsa. I gave a litany of cities across the nation that had thriving African American communities where we owned our own banks, our own funeral homes, our own grocery stores, our own real estate companies. We had our own communities. Hello, that's who we have been. And so at some point, of course, and then because we know what happens, that we were burned out, we were pushed out, all those things, integration happened because we believe that perhaps what was better on the other side was what, we needed to go for. We can have that dialogue all the time. But everyone, how do we get back to that? A caller, I see you. I'm going to put this out here. There is a city. And of course, as part of the unraveling, I'm going to, of course, always throw in the legalization of marijuana. I think it's just so interesting. If you have understood the positioning of marijuana in this country, of course, hemp. George Washington had over 100 hemp plants on his plantation. Hemp was a product, a viable product. And not until we had our fellow I'm not going to say immigrants, that's what I'm going to say, our Mexican labor force that came over who used to partake in the natural herb, then individuals identified that, that was bad. That was a stigma. They then created marijuana, attached it to Mexicans, created the Reefer Madness platform, and so forth. And so we've gone through all this incarnation, and now we're back. And now marijuana has been legalized. Well, interesting enough, there's a city in Colorado there too. One is in Greeley and one is right next door. And I believe the name is Grand. And so you have one city that is now saying, putting a moral fiber. No, they don't want marijuana. That is not what they want. However, there was an underground tunnel that was built because the other city was founded by a gentleman who did bootlegging, had gambling establishments. They wouldn't let him do it, so he founded his own city. Yeah, he bought up the property, found his own city. Individuals came who believed in what he believed, and thus they're thriving now. And they have established a marijuana industry there, and they're rolling with it. So we could establish our own. We don't do that. Has our moral fiber prohibited us? Has religion, as been presented to us in America, prohibits us from doing some things that, quote unquote, are now legal? The business of it. Just where did we go? I mean, how are we assessing things to have our own? So everyone, I want you all to think about it. I mean, those are the conversations I want us to have, and I'm going to go to our next caller. So thank you so much for your patience. You are on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Good morning.
Hey, Collette.
Hey.
Hey, we were Johnny come latelys with that marijuana thing, even though we were up on it first.
Okay.
And
yeah.
And see, we never would think to try to legalize something that's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
See, that takes balls.
Right.
You're going to step in to the government and say what's currently illegal, we want to petition it to be legal.
Right.
And they said under the medical stuff, it can be. Isn't there something?
Right.
If the dope boys of the 80s knew that one day it will be legal, they probably would have petitioned then.
Right.
Well, we build our underground economics and we get so comfortable with it that we don't think about regulating.
Thank you. Well, you know what? Now, interesting, and stay there. So do we not think about the regulating of it because we don't either engage in the governmental process? We believe that we don't have any influence or power or control within government, and then we're not reaping the benefits from it. I mean, the states that are taxing now marijuana are getting a substantial revenue from the taxation of it. So it goes through the business component. I mean, we just remissed in understanding the business of America. America was founded by individuals, and I say that loosely, by individuals because of money and gain. That's the basis of who we are.
Well, let's just change that verbiage.
Please, let's do that.
You can't find nothing that was there when you got there.
Nice, thank you.
So our founding fathers ain't found nothing, and they ain't my damn fathers.
Right.
You mean those founding thieves, rapists, and murderers who escaped persecution from King George and bumped into these lands?
Right. Well, stay there. Wait. Stay there for 1 second. Stay there 1 second, because we know that they didn't escape it. They were put on a boat and shipped off. So
look, they didn't even want them. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Huh?
Right.
They didn't even want them in their society.
Thank you.
So they dumped them on America, and then you come to a land now, and here's where I want to know.
Yes.
If you want to make America great again, then let's look at America when America was great.
Okay.
One, America wasn't even called America when it was great.
Well, wait a minute. Stay there for me. Define what you think is great.
What I think is great is America without Caucasians. To me, that's a great America.
Okay,
because that was America before they came.
Okay.
So I will go back to the original America. And I'm quite sure it was a great place before that thief and that murderer and that rapist, and they brought their lice and all these other diseases. I'm quite sure America was a great place then.
Gotcha.
But let me explain something to my people.
Please.
We are in the situation we're in because, number one, no matter what we do, we pull our inspiration from mundane shores. We never pull that inspiration. See, that inspiration would give you the oomph Collette, to do the things like legalize a marijuana.
Yeah.
It gives you that gall to take up for your community.
Yeah.
You cannot take up for your community if you always pulling from slavery, because they never took up for their community. So I would say draw your inspiration from a Nat Turner,
Okay.
because he did something that you need to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about what makes America great, who you asking? Because to some people, a great America is an America without black people and Latinos.
Right. Right.
I just so happen to be one of them black people who will reverse the psychology. I say no. A great America is an America without a Caucasian Senate,
Okay.
who mad that a black president gets to be the only president ever to appoint 2 Supreme Court justices in his tenure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're going to hold up and jack high. Had there been a white boy who was a president, they would let it go.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't have no problem, but this racist, demonic Senate who has made it bad for America all over the world, something needs to be done about them. Something needs to be done about limiting the term of senators, because apparently you don't have to be the president to wield power.
Right.
The Senate is wielding power that the president can't do. So maybe we as a people need to lobby for less years for the Senate. Maybe we need to put them down to 4 years.
All right.
Because if this is what your racism is going to do, your reluctance to check each other in your own community about racism, like the young man said, they grow up on hate. Isn't that something? How we grow up teaching our kids to love each other and love everybody, but they teaching their kids to hate not only their own women, but black people and Latinos too.
Yeah.
So if you want to feel like you're part of this, then stop looking in from the outside and get in and get dirty like they do. We get the respect we get because they know I am of the mindset of an eye for an eye.
Okay.
They respect that brother more than anybody. And last but not least, Collette,
Sure.
the America they want is the Dr. King America. Ever since the Beyonce thing happened, to the Kendrick Lamar, to everything, this has made America, not America, this has made the Caucasian rejects from Europe. This has made them rear their ugly heads.
Okay.
And they feel they have an entitlement to this place that they don't have at all.
Okay.
Now, if you want to take that position that America is better without us, then you wouldn't have a place without us, without the raping and the thieving and everything y'all did to force the labor to help maintain this place.
Right.
So Caucasian, think about what you're saying, because we are essential even to your survival.
Yes. Yes.
Remember when I told you on your other show about melanin?
Yes.
That's why heroin overtakes them. That's why a prescription drug can lead them to something hard, straight, where we could smoke a joint and that's it.
Right.
He's been smoking joints for 10 years and ain't never put a needle in his vein.
Right.
But here go this Caucasian kid, took a Tylenol, and now he's on heroin. And that's because that's because in that curse of non-melanin, you don't have the muscle to fight off an addiction like we do. We are the most blessed people in the world. Yeah. And I want you to think in those terms. Yeah. I want you to think and know that you are better than them. You were built better than them. You were designed better than them, because the greater part of God was installed in the black man.
Yes.
And they are realizing that today, because their babies are dying. They're getting sick by the numbers. All you got to do is look at the numbers. And this is why Caucasian women are coming over to black men, because they saying, in spite of, here is a man who's melanated enough to give me a healthy sperm. The white man fears genetic annihilation. This is what all of this is about. They fear being genetically annihilated because the doctor keeps telling them the white woman is taking all these pills for fertility. It ain't her. It's him. It's him. It's his blood, Collette. You know why we know? Because the blood can say 99.9% father.
Right.
So the greater makeup of your child is his daddy. Why you think the doctor say, oh, the child is sick? Collette, Miss Ramsey, what is his father's medical history.
Mm.
They don't
Come
say
on.
what's your medical history.
Right.
They say what's the father's medical history. So if something is wrong with the child, something's wrong with the father. And if this woman can't produce, she's not barren. And the white man will call her barren because he messed up.
Now, you know
And
what?
every white
So now you
woman
got...
in the sound of my voice know that genetically, I'm speaking genetics, Collette. You hear me?
No, I got it, because now you got the hotlines blinging. So I got 2 more calls that I'm gonna take.
Go
now.
ahead, take your call. I ain't mean to go
No,
that
you
far,
no,
but
no,
when
no.
you say,
You don't ever have to apologize. You know, this is your platform as well. This is the way that we have conversation. So I just appreciate you. Thank you.
thank
All
you.
right, no problem. Everyone, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I love. That's what I get up for. That's why I'm so excited to spend the time that we have on this Thursday morning, on these Thursday mornings, because we got to have the dialogue. We have to be able to communicate. So callers, I got you. Let's see. We're going to get all of us in. We got 3 calls within about 5 minutes. So let's go. You're in Coffee and Conversation. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Collette, this is Yakanan again. I
Hi,
called
yes.
you earlier.
Thank you.
And that brother who just left off the phone, that brother was so beautiful. His oh man, his consciousness just filled the earth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man, he was right on point. I just wanted to call back and quickly, because I know you got other callers.
Yes.
We don't want to teach our children to hate, but we want to teach our children to beware of them. They're harmful, not only to you, but to the planet, to the water, to the air. We have to start teaching our children that paradigm, like the little guy in Dearborn.
Right.
You see, they got him on a paradigm.
Right.
We have to start teaching our children not to hate, but to beware.
That's right.
Don't associate.
That's right.
They're harmful.
That's right.
They're dishonorable.
Yeah.
They're untrustworthy. We have to start putting that curriculum in our own schools. That's why they let the white teachers teach our children, so they can't get that information. Thank you, Collette.
I appreciate you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Blessings to you
let's
as well.
go listen.
Thank you. Everyone, see, that's what it's about. We got to be able to have the conversations. And remember, you all can agree to disagree. I got 2 other callers, and I'm going to get you in. But that's what it's about. And you're being passionate about it. I love it. You can call in. I need the passion, but I need the thought process with it. And I just appreciate all of you. So thanks so much for holding. You are on Coffee and Conversation. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I lost you? Okay, I got you, caller. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Good morning.
Good morning, Collette Bear.
Good
Happy
morning,
Thursday.
Gino.
It's MC Gino. How are you there?
I'm amazing. How are you? Gino.
I am wonderful. You're looking great in that green on Comcast
Oh, yes, I
91.
forgot. I had to. Right. It is, a day of the St. Patrick's thing or whatever happening.
Of course.
Right,
I am on duty tonight.
I know you are.
I am on duty tonight.
Yes.
In part 2, teen domestic violence.
Yes.
We want to see your face in the place. Because I have about like 98 listeners Gmailing me about, where is Collette Ramsey?
No, they don't.
I'm like, people Gmail me, wondering where are you at? When are you going to make a appearance on one of the roundtable discussions?
I know. I got to show. Well, you know what, Gino, stay right there, because I got this article in this governing magazine, and literally on the cover it talks about the rise of domestic violence. So I got to bring that in, and I got to be able to give it and share the conversation. So you're correct.
Yes, tonight, please share that conversation. And we're also honoring LaToya Harris Darkchild, who's been my second co-host for over a year.
Oh, congratulations
President
to her.
CEO of the Beauty Factory in Redford.
Yes.
We're honoring her tonight.
Okay.
And it's going to be a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I invite people to call in tonight, 313-868-0331. Shout out to 64 and the whole entire WHPR family, ladies and gentlemen. So if anybody wants more information about the subject, about the topics, I do one with the Social Outreach Ministries.
Mm-hmm.
You can also contact me at 313-556-3738. One more time, area code 313-556-3738. I work from 9 a.m. in the morning on Thursdays till about 8 o'clock at night, because I air at 7 o'clock tonight. But you can call me or either you can call me at the station at 313-868-6612 and leave a message during the course of the day.
That's right.
As well, or either you can contact me on my cell phone one more time, 313-556-3738. So, so if you have some ideas, that's the 6-4, the big less to everybody.
Yeah.
So if you have some ideas that you want to be talked about on Word Explosion Outreach Ministries, as far as more serious topics, let me know.
Yeah.
But I want everybody to check out Collette Ramsey, a.k.a. Collette Beer, every Thursday morning from 7 to 8, because she's at the hottest morning show in the city of Highland Park in Hamtramck.
Thank you.
So tonight, teen domestic violence.
Yeah.
313-868-0331. One more time.
Yes.
313-868-0331. You can listen to us live online.
Yeah.
www.fm881WHBR.com.
That's
So,
right.
Lady Bear, we're hoping to see you tonight.
Yes.
Once again, we're honoring LaToya Harris.
Yes.
She's been with us a year.
Yes.
The hardest working businesswoman and the hardest working woman in the hair industry.
Yes.
Because our team is building.
Yeah. That's what it's
definitely.
about. That's what it's about. And congratulations to Ms. Harrison. That's what it's about. Growing a team, being part of a team.
We are the team is growing, Lady Bear, and hopefully we'll see you tonight. And shout out to Tyrone Bynum. We're hoping we're going to have Tyrone Bynum on the show as well.
Okay.
For Grand Rapids.
Nice.
So that's going to be an exclusive for Word Explosion Outreach Ministry. So, Lady Bear, you have an amazing day.
Thank you. You too,
You take care.
You too.
And I want everybody to watch Collette every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. right before Joanne Watson and Wake Up the Terrain, which is coming up next. So, Lady Bear, you have a amazing day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Everyone, you know what? That's what it's about. It's all about team building. It's all about having the right conversations. It's all about listening, agreeing to disagree, but realizing that collectively we have to work together to make it better for us in these United States of America. Understand what is happening around us doesn't negate where we go. You know, I always equate it to the Matrix. It's the red or the green pill. So either you live in your truth and you make decisions based upon that, or you're in an ignorant state where ignorance is bliss. You've heard that growing up. Oh, ignorance is bliss. And then you're like, oh, I don't understand. Why wouldn't people want to be enlightened? Why wouldn't people? No. There are certain individuals who don't. And we don't understand how to make this system work for us. That's what it's about. You have to understand it, make it work for you. If it works for you, it works for me, because it's a collective. We are each other. It's really that simple. So that's why we have the conversations that we have. That's why we talk about the issues that aren't as attractive. It's not as sexy. It's not as glamorous because, it's serious. This is do or die. We need to live, not just survive. We don't need to be beheld to spaces that don't honor our spirit. If that's a job, if that's a relationship, whatever that looks like for you, you have to be honest enough to understand it, have faith and a plan of action to then move forward. That's what this whole thing of life is about. Good things happen to bad people, quote, bad things happen to good people. It's a war, good versus evil. We understand that. We are spirit beings housed in flesh. So what do you do while you have this time on this earth to effectuate a positive change in the life of someone else? You can't take what you know and then keep it to yourself and then think it's going to be better. It doesn't work that way, everybody. You got to be able to give and give and give some more, because at the end of the day, when it is time for you to transition up out of this space, it's not going to be what car did you have, what house did you have, what you flossing in. Did you make a difference in someone's life? Was it better? Did you leave the space better than what you found when you were in it? You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, am I doing the best that I can? So if indeed that America is changing, how is America changing? How are we going to be accountable and responsible in the change? And be the change that you want to see and who you want to be. That's the charge. It's a call of action. Don't sit back and wait for people to do things for you. Have enough faith that that is who you are and believe that's who you are to make it happen by any means. Faith without works is what? Dead. That is just really that simple. Create a plan, no matter what that looks like. Understand the environment and make these Americas work for you. It's really simple. It's not hard. I'm going to continue to have the dialogue and the conversations that will equip you to do just that. It is my charge. It is my pleasure. It is my honor to have the conversations that we've had every Thursday from 7 to 8 a.m. as you begin to engage more so productively in your day. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you to all the callers. You know, it wouldn't mean anything without you. Can't have a conversation by myself. So continue to have an amazing one as you enter into the weekend as well. Look forward to our time together next week. See you then.